Hi, I'm Astrologer Penny Dix, and welcome to this month's second new moon in the month of December. This is unusual, and it's a new moon in Capricorn, and it's at 22:26 Universal Time, and the degree is 9 degrees and 43 minutes. So this is when, as you know, the sun and the moon come together at the exact same point in the sky. And it's when the moon is kind of basically less visible, which is probably why two new moons in the same calendar month are called a black moon. And two full moons in the same calendar month are called a blue moon. But back to today's new moon. The four quadrants of the chart are mutable. Now, before I go further, let's get Jerry to manifest our chart so we can have a look at it. And there we go, ta-da! And there it appears. If you look, we have a Virgo ascendant, which means we have a Pisces descendant, a Gemini midheaven, and a Sagittarius IC. Now, these energies are mutable, which means there is flexibility in what and how you can set your intentions and your manifestations. Now, how do you choose what to manifest with a new moon? Well, the best thing is to kind of, if you know your chart well, look at where it falls in your chart. So, for instance, the event chart shows the new moon falling in the fourth house. Now, the fourth house is the house of home and family, of ancestry, of one's homeland, of where we live. The new moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn is quite an austere sign, but it's very solid, it's very loyal. Don't upset a Capricorn, they won't get over it. They won't forgive you. Once a Capricorn is done with you, they are done. And that's a little bit kind of also for Taurus, is another sign which can have that kind of capacity to cut off. But of course, Capricorn is a cardinal energy, which means it's very proactive. Cardinality means we like to achieve things, we like to initiate things, we like to get things moving. And this particular new moon in the sign of Capricorn, which remember is about boundaries, containment, rules. It can also be about kind of how we build things, how we build structures in our lives, how we manage our lives in a way that is, well, it makes us feel secure. I think Capricorn is a sign that security is very important for. So a Capricorn will usually try, as all the earth signs do, try to make sure they are financially secure. So let's just have a look at this energy, because the first thing I want to say is that there are no major aspects that this new moon is making, although it does make a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn, of course, rules Capricorn, so it's ruling planet. And Saturn has been wallowing or struggling, if you like, with the deep diving depths of Pisces, where it can hardly keep its head above water, to make some sense out of that which sometimes seems senseless. And this may be something on a general kind of way of looking at this new moon that we're facing on the planet today. I think there is so much that has been going on the planet in terms of the parts of the world where we have difficulties with differences, so that we have border problems, we have states and stages of war going on. And You know, it's so strange, isn't it, that even after all these centuries and years and thousands of years of supposed civilization, we still feel the only way to sort out a difference of opinion is through fighting. Maybe 2025 will be the precursor of seeing that energy shift and change through Pluto's move into Aquarius, and when Uranus dips his toes into the sign of Gemini a little bit later in the middle of 2025. But back to this new moon. So the new moon being sextiled by Saturn, you might hear my cats meowing. I'm not quite sure why they're meowing. They are very frisky this afternoon. It could be because it is particularly cold in Gozo. Yes, it gets very cold here. And so they are running around trying to sort of build up some body heat, bless them. It's just very difficult to heat these buildings because we have this limestone and it's porous, and so it holds damp, and it's cold. And actually today outside it's not very warm. It's I think it's something like 12 degrees, but feels like 6. That's centigrade. That's cold. And it's cold for this time of year in the Mediterranean. But anyway, I'm wittering again. Back to the new moon. I think this new moon is saying that we need to address the difficulties with the planet from a different perspective, from a different viewpoint. What's interesting, if you look at the chart, right at the bottom of the chart where it's Sagittarius, you've got Mercury, still in its shadow zone. Mercury, our planet of communication. And Mercury is opposing Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. Jupiter, of course, rules Sagittarius, and Mercury rules Gemini. So they are what is known as in mutual reception, but they're also in the signs that are opposite to the signs they're really comfortable in. So it's a kind of misnomer. It's a kind of mismatch. So we have this energy, in one sense, dominating the bottom part and the top part of the chart. The MC, the top of a chart, is about what's out there on the public stage. This is where we need to have good, solid, flexible communication. This is what Jupiter is requesting and inviting, and saying that it can bring the opportunities through this new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn, which is about, can be about, you know, the army and regimental stuff and kind of people in charge, governments, governmental ways of looking at things. So it's almost as if Jupiter and Mercury are really imploring us collectively to implore our leaders to talk, to communicate, because I don't know about anyone else, but, you know, when I look at the news, I just sit there with constant eye rolls, because eye rolls being a... because I just can't believe sometimes what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. It feels as if there is no one in any position, in any country in the world of authority who is able to address the difficulties that the planet faces. So we have to think about the fact that this new moon is at the end of this year and is giving us an introduction, a gateway into 2025. Sagittarius at the bottom, at the IC of the chart, where Mercury is about communication is the way through. Communication, seeking the truth. The truth may be uncomfortable. The truth, ultimately, is empowering. Because when we are caught in deception, lies, in really not being in our authentic and sovereign, honest self. And I'm talking about the collective here, as well as us on an individual level. Then people pick it up on an unconscious level. And it creates dissension. It creates dissolution, and it creates, disillusion, quite frankly. If we look at some of the other energy that is going on in this chart, we also need to remember that we're caught in this ongoing square between Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Gemini. These are two kind of opposite energies. And we are feeling and have been feeling the build-up of this energy throughout the 2 weeks leading up to this new moon, because Saturn restricts and holds back and says everything is about timing, whilst Jupiter says, whoa, let's go. Let's just get this sorted out. I'm in Gemini. Let's sit down and actually chew everything over. Get everything out on the table. Let's look at everything. Let's talk about everything. And Saturn's going, well, I'm just not really quite sure if I'm ready for that. I don't want to, and I'm not going to. And so there is this absolute kind of stalemate. And some of us may have felt, or many of us may have felt through the 2 weeks from, say, let's from the winter solstice and the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, from the 21st of December till now, we will have felt, I think, that there is a real energy about wanting and needing to clear the air, whether it's on a personal level, on the international stage. All of us kind of screaming at the news channels, saying, for goodness sake, grow up and be adults, please, world leaders, and stop faffing around. There really does feel that energy around. And I think we're also going to feel it in our personal lives, where healing discussion is really needed. Now, what is so fascinating is that Chiron, our wounded healer, that part of us, that wound we carry within from birth almost, is making the most wonderful, helpful trine to Mercury in Sagittarius from the sign of Aries. You know, this is a really interesting trine, because what Chiron is suggesting through this new moon is you can do it. You can use the energy of Capricorn to sit down and look at the structure of what you're trying to manifest, be it a new way of life, a new home, a new career, a change in your relationship, a new relationship, changes in an ongoing relationship, the conclusion of a relationship in a way that leaves both parties with a sense of dignity and understanding and respect. But there is no doubt that this new moon in Capricorn is heralding enormous change. And Chiron, trining Jupiter, is saying, oh my God, Mercury, you can have such healing discussions at this time, be it with family, be it with business associates or partners, be it with loved ones, with your husband, your wife, your mate, your lifelong partner, your best friend, anyone that you need to somehow iron out the creases. And of course, this means that Chiron is also sextiling Jupiter, that is in opposition to Mercury. So you've got actually Chiron, this wonderful healing energy to the woundedness that we may all have been feeling over the last few weeks and months, even the last year or so, is kind of acting as a mediator, bringing together the wonderful, opportunistic and fortunate energy of Jupiter, an expansive way to think in a way that is constructive, bringing in the energy of the new moon in Capricorn to incorporate Mercury direct in Sagittarius, our planet of communication, which can be a bit hot and fiery in Sagittarius, because it's like, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it how it is. But that can be so freeing and so healing. So bear that in mind with this new moon. You know, Mars retrograde in Leo, for example, is trining the North Node in Aries, that is so close to moving back into Pisces. And Mars retrograde in a fire sign is not comfortable. It's too much heat. It's like, if you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen, get out of the situation, get out of the relationship, get out of the job, the career, whatever it may be, the city. And trining the North Node, it's saying to move forward, using this new moon energy to move forward. And if you look at the event chart, it's in the 7th house, the North Node, relationships that are significant to you. You need to actually take some drastic decisions. And it's not so much about, say, issuing ultimatums, but just saying things how they are, telling the truth. Sagittarius on the IC is about truth, being in the truth, in your authenticity. And we can't ignore the fact that we've got Pluto in Aquarius, now at 1 degree. And Pluto is trining the South Node in Libra. Libra about relationships, saying, I'm here, I can help you transform this. I can help you change these situations, these difficulties in communication. Use my energy, Pluto is imploring you. You know, there's so much in this new moon, if we really look at it, even though its actual energy is not overtly obvious. Venus is squaring Uranus. Okay, so Venus in Aquarius, Venus, our planet of relationship, of self-worth. In the house of service, it's in the 6th house. It's squaring Uranus in Taurus, that is still retrograde, in the 9th house. This is something to do with one's self-esteem. And that there is a sense with this new moon energy of big wake-up calls. Wake-up calls saying, time is up, enough is enough. Time to change the situation, change the way you deal with things, change the career, the job, or change the way you approach it. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bath water, but, you know, a new moon is about bringing in the new. It's a black moon. Black moon is shadow. What has been kept in the shadows that needs to be revealed? Have a think about that. What has been kept in the shadows or in your shadow that needs to be revealed? You know, Pluto is also sextiling Neptune in Pisces. It's a very loose, wide sextile, but nevertheless, it's still there. And it's saying, hey, use your imagination. Get back in touch with that gut feeling. Use that intuition. Because Mars is also trining Neptune. And Mars, remember, is still in opposition to Pluto. I would love to be a fly on the wall in government buildings, in people's homes, to see what challenges one is having to address over the next couple of weeks or so. I think that there is something about the energy at the moment which is really very much about change. You know, you'll hear probably all astrologers saying 2025 is the year when the change really starts to happen. And it does, and it will. And look at that ascendant, Virgo. Virgo, that little worry box, that little worry pot, worrying about the slightest things. Oh, did I say something that'll upset so-and-so? So what? So what if you did? Maybe they needed to hear it. Because look, the part of fortune sits exactly on that ascendant, in opposition to Saturn in Pisces, that is the ruler of the new moon. You know, Saturn, as I often say, and you will hear me say, is about timing, and it brings us back to Saturn sextiling this new moon. The part of fortune is exactly what it says it is. It's about good fortune. The ultimate goal and result of what you wish to bring into your reality, into your conscious awareness, is doable, is havable, if that's a real word. And all you have to do is kind of find the courage and address situations in your life that are not okay. Because if you don't address it, who is? So, you know, that Virgo ascendant is saying, oh, don't get into, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'll upset someone, or maybe it'll all go horribly wrong. You know what? If it all goes horribly wrong, then it wasn't yours in the first place. And you're not meant to be going along that path anyway. That's my take on it anyway. At this point, I'm going to get the wonderful Jerry to make our chart magically disappear. And just say, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your support throughout this year. Because I know most of you know I've had a bit of a tough year physically with back surgery, major back surgery, which has been totally successful. I now have an incredibly bad shoulder, which is actually, excuse me, nothing to do with the back, although probably using walking sticks and things didn't help an injury that had happened to it 2 years ago. And some of you have mentioned to me plasma treatment. Well, guess what? Somebody practices it on Malta. So guess what I'm going to be doing in the new year? I'm going to be investigating plasma treatment, which I believe is also known as stem cell therapy. And I don't want more surgery. If I can find an alternative and better way to heal the soft tissue damage in my shoulder, then that's what I'm going to do. So if any of you out there know anything about plasma or stem cell sort of therapy, whatever it's called, please let me know. I'd be super interested to hear your experiences of, or any guidance you can give me. You know, it's very relevant because this is something also I think about Pluto in Aquarius, that we are going to try new ways of doing things. Even this Chiron aspect in this chart that is what was Chiron trining Mercury, you know, looking at it, talking about it, waking up. Uranus wants us to wake up. Uranus is squaring Venus in this chart, and I think Uranus is really going to be a major player next year in the astrology. And I think that all these more, I want to say alternative, but I think they're not going to be alternative. I think they are going to become mainstream ways of kind of modern medicine. I think medicine is going to take a big leap forward, and it will no longer be, oh, we'll take that bit out and replace it with a bit of metal. I think there are going to be major, major shifts technologically, medically, and spiritually and psychologically for all of us, which, do you know what? It's hugely exciting. And I want to wish you a very, very happy manifesting new moon in Capricorn. And if you haven't checked out my other channel that I do with Sarah Sands Smith, the hypnotherapist, we've just gone over 1K subscribers, which is hugely exciting. And we have a video that today, when I'm recording this, which is the 22nd of December, the video, our 2025 predictions, has had over 10K views, which is awesome. So if any of you out there have been watching it, thank you so much. And for those of you that haven't, go and check it out, because we're super excited. And also I'd like to thank all the new subscribers who have subscribed to this channel. I really appreciate and value your support. Thank you so much for choosing to join me here in my astrology community. I just love my astrology. I'm passionate about it, and I want to make it available to all. And if you do want to have a session with me to look at your own natal chart and transits, then please drop me an email through my website, pennydix.com, and the email is penny@pennydix.com. I have some emails stacking up in my inbox. I will attend to them. So if I don't reply to you straight away, it's because it's the holiday season and I'm having a little bit of a rest, but I know they're there and they will be addressed. So don't worry, I will find a time in the calendar for us to meet. So on that word, please remember to still like, comment, subscribe. And I really look forward to seeing you next time with the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.